Governor Branstad now says he will likely sign a bill into law allowing the medical use of oil from marijuana plants. Scott's been following this story and has more tonight in his special report.
Tiffany, a recent survey shows 81% of Iowa voters support allowing doctors to prescribe marijuana for medical use. And they remain hopeful after today's comments from the governor. They're also thankful that the conversation has gotten this far in Iowa. But a question is being raised. Should Iowa be growing its own medical marijuana and allowing it for conditions other than epilepsy?
That was one right there. You can see it in her eyes mostly. Yeah. That her eyes will do a little weird trajectory.
Rachel Selmeski points out the symptoms of the seizures her 2-year-old endures daily.
What do you think?
And she understands that the people who don't live this life have a hard time comprehending it.
Even last year at Christmas, people were posting that their kids were getting them up at 4 in the morning to open presents. And Sean and I are like, we were up making sure our daughter was still alive.
Sean Selmeski, now a student at the Denver Seminary in Colorado, says he prayed about his initial belief that marijuana was bad.
The only direction that the Lord showed me was, you need to go to Colorado and you need to get your child on marijuana. And I tell you what, it's never been a struggle for me. Past that point, it's never been an issue.
We get to drive through the mountains, which is really fun. Rachel took me to the place where they grow Maggie's medicine.
These are THC plants here, so we're in the middle of harvesting both CBD and THC.
CBD is the compound from a strain of marijuana called Charlotte's Web, used to produce the oil for seizure treatment. The medical marijuana industry here is highly regulated, requiring a state license, and each plant is tracked from seed.
We have to get a tag on them, and that's a RFID tag, radio frequency identification. And so that stays with the plant all the way until it's sold at the stores.
And each patient gets only so much based on a doctor's recommendation.
The typical patient is allotted 6 plants for a growing operation to grow, and that doesn't mean that a patient is assigned a specific plant.
Right.
They just give the rights to the grower to grow 6 plants of any type for them, so they know that the state knows where that patient is connected to and how many plants that patient has.
Neurosurgeon Dr. Tom Karlstrom says the 60 active ingredients in the marijuana plant are providing relief for patients suffering many chronic conditions. Yes, epilepsy, but also cancer, multiple sclerosis, anorexia, glaucoma, and post-traumatic stress disorder.
Slam dunk, absolutely, it works for those things, just like morphine works for pain.
I saw farmers in their water buffalo get blown to pieces. I mean, we were right there.
Former Cedar Rapids City Council member Don Carr recalls his Navy days landing Marines in Vietnam. He says the anguish of PTSD almost killed him until he took a few hits of pot.
The suicide thoughts went away. I started getting grounded. I started feeling more comfortable about myself. I could get stoned and communicate with people.
Carr says he was never high at council meetings, but smoking at night would help him sleep. Relief that has escaped Judy Stover.
I'm very tired, a lot of pain in my legs, feet, back.
This Iowa City grandmother has struggled with MS for more than 50 years.
Nothing really has seemed to touch the pain, so that is why I've been interested in the medical marijuana, that maybe this might help.
And she, like Carr, wants that help for others too, and for the benefit of society.
Control it, tax it. That's one thing. I said fix our roads, our bridges, you know, just like they do cigarettes and alcohol.
I don't want my children smoking marijuana when their brains are developing. We got a problem now. We ignore marijuana. We ignore drugs, and gangs are selling it to children in schools. They can get it. They can't get alcohol and cigarettes so easy. We need to have the state government control drugs.
There's never been one documented death from marijuana, yet the federal government says cannabis is just as dangerous as heroin with no medical benefits. The states are well ahead on this issue, and proponents say that's good because as it becomes legal in more states, more research can be done. If you'd like to do your own research, we have plenty of resources at cbs2iowa.com.